When you came into the private lesson for the first time, I already had a plan to ask you if you wanted to compete.
Crazy.
I know you didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's because literally I had thought of this video idea for so long. I was like, what if we can take a stranger from like just off the street to competing in jiu-jitsu in a short period of time? And I was like, we're never gonna find somebody who's gonna agree to that.
That's insane.
Like, how are we gonna find that person?
Yeah.
Can you just tell me the story?
When I first walked in,
What was day one like?
yeah, okay, all right. Something you might not know is it was a big deal for me to message you because I had no faith that, well, first of all, the fear of rejection, like, you know, like, who the f is this guy reaching out? Second of all, like, I had no faith in my ability to do anything physical or athletic, especially not fighting.
All right, so I'm here with Andre. This is our first time meeting.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, dude. So I'm 38 years old and trying to get more into fitness and learn how to fight. One of my kind of goals is to not have that fight or flight reflex that kind of leans toward flight.
Basically, what I started doing was Googling, learned about jiu-jitsu, and then I found your YouTube, right? And I started watching your videos. I was like, this is sick, this is dope. Before we started training, I, for 2 or 3 weeks, was just training on my own. So I bought Gracie combatives and a grappling dummy, and I was just like rolling around with it outside of my apartment, and everyone's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He has no idea what he's doing.
This is my grappling dummy that I bought.
That's amazing.
It's like 80 pounds too, it's pretty heavy. I got this shirt, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the huge logo on the back, and I got the whole poster, Gracie Combatives, Lord Henner and Hedron fighting at the bottom of it. So I was looking at this every day before I met you.
Was there any specific move that you wanted to do?
Yeah, the rear naked choke, because I saw that on Gracie Combatives. It's the first lesson.
Did you do any sports at all growing up?
No sports at all growing up. I was in marching band.
Is this the first time you've actually rolled with anybody, right?
First time ever.
I had lifted with a personal trainer when I was living in SF almost like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, just sporadically over a month or two. And so I hesitate to even really call that training.
And despite never having done any sports before, his body was already weak and broken down.
I'm in PT right now, like twice a week for my knees, shoulders, and elbows.
I'm a big believer that anybody can do jiu-jitsu, but I would be lying if I said that I wasn't at least a little bit worried just because of your current physical state.
You're strong. Okay. Just like a baby. Day zero was also the first time I've been in a compromising position where I couldn't get out of. It's mind-blowing, you know what I'm saying? For someone who's never been in an altercation or any physical contact sport, to me it was very, very strange and I'd say uncomfortable at first.
You're in a position where you actually are completely helpless. Mm-hmm. You can't do anything. The guy's holding you down and he could literally kill you if he wanted to.
Exactly.
But we just happen to trust each other.
Yeah.
Right?
That's impossible. Hard.
Imagine somebody knocks you over on the street and they're on top of you. It's oh, fuck.
I should have the skills to get out and defend myself, right? And so that's what also motivated me to keep going.
Oh my God, I'm stuck, bro. So I'm trying to hold you down and not let you grab hold of me. So there's only a few ways to break it off. Twisting it, straightening it.
Yeah.
I was worried that this was like drinking from a fire hose, but he seemed enthusiastic about learning. So I decided to show him one last move before popping the big question, hoping that this would seal the deal.
I'm a big fan, it's my favorite move.
But would this be enough to convince him how fun jiu-jitsu could be? Or would it just scare him off?
I've seen people get knocked, slapped.
Yeah, I've been put out.
No way. Yeah. You put people out, I know.
On accident one time, yeah.
Crazy, you have this clip.
I actually have been choking him too.
Oh my God.
So I'm gonna let you feel what that feels like. I could choke.
Holy All right. My adrenaline was pumping once we did the RNC, because in my head, I felt like I was gonna get choked out and then I'd wake up in a coma or something. Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah. That's why I had the cough attack. Wow, it's right away.
There you go.
People defend that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a weak grip, bro.
No, you're good.
I'm nervous about choking.
Were you actually squeezing?
I was squeezing with dear life.
All right. Great job, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
This is wild.
Yeah. On the topic of anxiety, I want to take a moment to talk about the sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. I personally used talk therapy years ago to manage stress after leaving the army and moving to a new city. What surprised me was how lessons like mindfulness and regulating my nervous system carried over into competition years later, even though I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu at the time. If you already train, you know how much jiu-jitsu helps with stress. Combining that with talk therapy can be a game changer, improving your performance on and off the mats. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easy. It's a platform where therapists and clients can communicate effectively to get the most out of therapy. There's even a journal inside the platform for personal reflection, as well as group sessions on different topics that are available every day. Just fill out the questionnaire and they'll match you with a licensed therapist in as little as a couple of days. If it's not the right fit, it's simple to switch therapists until you find one that you connect with. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5-star rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Click the link in my description or go to betterhelp.com/JoshBeanBJJ to get 10% off on your first month. Therapy might just be the edge you're looking for. And now let's get back to see how Andre is gonna deal with my proposal. He like seemed super stoked during the private lesson, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna pop the question.
So Josh got down on one knee.
So I got down on one knee. I was like, Andre.
Man, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to, I'm glad you liked it. I wanted to, you don't have to answer me now, but I wanted to run something by you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because what I think might be a cool YouTube video.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No, I'm already signed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you just started agreeing right away.
Yeah,
Did
right.
you even know what you were agreeing to?
But put yourself in my head. I had survived my day 0 session, and I'm with one of the YouTube biggest BJJ celebrities. So I was like, whatever road Josh is gonna propose, I'm gonna be on top of. But I had no idea you're gonna say to compete.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, chill, bro. Hold up before you answer.
All right.
Well, so what I think might be a cool YouTube video is if I train you for your first ever competition.
Shut the f up. Are you kidding?
No.
Have you seen me?
Dude.
Bro. That was a really good bait and switch. Because if you had wrote that on the Instagram message, there would have been no way in hell I would have said yes.
One, I think you would have fun because I
Yeah.
think everybody who does their first competition loves it,
Yeah.
even though it's like a scary thing.
Yeah.
It's totally up to you.
Yeah,
No pressure.
I'm down, dude. I'm down.
Okay, I'll train you for your first
Yeah.
competition. Yes.
Thanks, bro.
So we signed up for the tournament. This is so funny. I love this. Did you think that you were going to be doing this?
No, not at all. And then now I have this massive epic goal.
What's a goal if it's not epic, right?
I know, bro. I know. It's I might as well go for it.
How do you feel after training this morning, by the way?
I feel good. The elbows are sore.
Any kind of little soreness or whatever that you have, let's make sure we pay attention to that.
Right.
Because the little things, jiu-jitsu start to turn into
Okay.
more annoying things over time. So
US Open. That sounds intimidating. But okay, let's do it. Instructor name, Josh Bean.
sure, I guess I'm instructor now. It's funny because usually I'm putting my coach, but yeah. Yeah, I kind of had just a mini freak out moment. See, I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu and I've competed in over 280 matches. So I know how to compete, but that's a separate skill from being able to coach somebody. I mean, I teach classes and coach my friends at tournaments, but I never tried to coach somebody specifically for a competition and run a training program for them.
Insane.
Safety's my #1 priority, and my goal is simply to get Andre through the next 7 weeks in one piece. And we explained it to you a bunch. We were like, dude, we don't care if you win. We don't care if you lose. The outcome is irrelevant to this whole situation. You're learning how to compete, and I'm trying to learn how to coach you to make sure that you don't die.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
EDM heavy, baby.
All right, it's official.
This is crazy.
He seemed almost too enthusiastic to say yes to this, but I wouldn't actually find out why until after he competed. All I knew was that he put a lot of trust in me, so I took this responsibility very seriously because there were a lot of real risks involved.
It was a leap of faith. I was just okay, we're doing it, right? And I had no idea what I was getting into.
And in my mind, I'm thinking whoa, I can't believe he just agreed to that. I took that trust very seriously, and I felt like I had a big responsibility.
It was dangerous. People get injured and break their bones and get slept all the time in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But you were willing to do it.
Yeah. My loved ones and people close to me were saying it was crazy. Some people don't know jiu-jitsu, and when they hear that, they might think MMA. They've seen me as being, a data scientist or a saxophonist, and so me going out into an arena and competing and fighting.
They were thinking that you lost your mind.
Exactly.
Were they right though?
No, they weren't. I think they were right to be concerned. I mean, they're people that are close to me, but it's really cool to push yourself.
Yeah, there's the danger aspect. You could get out there and just get smashed right away and like lose in the first 5 seconds. You'd embarrass yourself in front of everybody, pass out, puke all over the mat, shit yourself.
And your 20,000 followers see it all. Yeah.
It was time to start training, and I didn't know how he'd handle this both physically and mentally, but I was confident.
As a general principle, we want you to get as much training as you can leading up to it, but without like overworking your body.
But we'd be training him with an approach that's pretty divided in the jiu-jitsu community right now, the ecological approach. It's a different way of training, completely the opposite of the Gracie Combatives approach, where you don't learn techniques or do drills, but instead it's all based on live sparring.
I had seen your ecological videos on your YouTube channel, and I saw your standard jiu-jitsu video with Greg Sauter, so I already knew a little bit, at least from your content, about what eco was. So I was really pumped once you started kind of showing me the games and the method. In the beginning, I got a little bit frustrated sometimes with wanting a solution or an answer or even a drill, right? But no, I mean, I was pumped about eco.
So not only was this a test of him as an athlete and me as a coach, but also a test of this methodology. I've had a lot of success with it, but I've never taken a white belt from zero to competition using this methodology, or any methodology for that matter. So I didn't know how much jiu-jitsu he'd actually managed to learn in 7 weeks. But it was time to get started, so I told my main training partner and friend, Matt Guffey, what had happened.
Props to Andre. When you listen to this, know that what you're doing is really admirable.
And he suggested we do something that I had in the back of my mind the whole time.
What if he sponsored his strength and conditioning too, to like really give him the full experience? And he was on board right away.
So not only was Andre gonna be getting at least 3 jiu-jitsu sessions per week, but he'd also be getting 2 sessions of strength and conditioning tailored for BJJ athletes at Matt's gym called Victory Submission Strength here in San Jose. And just like that, suddenly Andre was a full-on jiu-jitsu athlete. And just 3 short days after I first met him, it was now time for his first week of training. But I had to travel to Sweden.
Because you were in Sweden, I stepped in and kind of like coached for the first week. All right, Andre, welcome in. This is your first official training day. I'm so first flattered that you trust me with this, and we just met 5 minutes ago. So proud of you. Not a lot of people have the intestinal fortitude to compete at all, let alone 6 weeks after they started something.
So I don't know what I'm signed up for, but let's do it.
We didn't have a complete strategy for the competition yet, but we knew one thing for sure. Andre was gonna need to be able to fight effectively from his back.
From a tactical or strategic perspective, pulling guard is probably the safest way to do your first competition.
Yeah.
We want to get to the ground as fast as we can.
Right.
So Matt introduced him to a concept called guard retention through a series of games, emphasizing how to control distance and keep his opponent in front of him.
You're in real time adapting to whatever environment is around you, right? Like you're having to like deal with a certain set of problems that, you know, I might have solutions that work for me that Josh doesn't, or vice versa.
But as practice went on, a deeper issue emerged. Andre's lack of physical conditioning was causing his elbows to strain under the pressure.
Only issues, we already woke up the elbows.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah.
Are they kind of barking a little bit?
It's like tendonitis.
Okay.
Is there like a option to like maybe make the set half the length?
Sure.
Matt had to tone down the intensity, raising the question, was this just a small adjustment or a sign of bigger challenges ahead?
First time I rolled with Josh 2 days ago, it was first time feeling helpless. And then today, it was more, I don't want to say frustration, but like trying to problem solve on my own. I'm already learning there's a mental strength aspect of it.
Andre was getting oriented more to jiu-jitsu, but without the ability to mount any offense or the strength to endure the strain, it was clear that we had a lot of work ahead of us.
It's gonna be a journey, dude. Yeah, thank you for working with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to do it.
Andre was eager to get started with strength training, but Matt needed to know where Andre needed the most help first. So he asked Coach Brendan to run him through a movement assessment so they could find out his strengths and weaknesses so they could build a program just for him. The assessment had 2 parts. The first part was controlled articular rotations to find any joint pain or limitations.
Yep, right back there. That's one of the problem spots, whatever that is.
I don't know the difference difference between tight and painful. It's okay. It's okay. It's just, it's cramping. I have tight hip flexors.
The second part was a functional movement screen to analyze how Andre moves in everyday patterns.
So now that we've seen how the joints move individually, we're gonna see how they work kind of in conjunction with one another.
I'm just going slow because of the knees. Let's see.
Andre had a lot of joint issues come up, but surprisingly, he wasn't totally screwed on the push-ups and the chin-ups.
Cool. It's the first 10 push-ups I've done. Yeah. Cool, man. That's what I got.
Your elbow's okay?
Yeah, thanks. They woke up, but I mean, it's all good.
The movement assessment confirmed what we already knew, that his elbows were at high risk of injury. And this is a big deal in jiu-jitsu where the name of the game is to break joints. So the idea is that if Andre can strengthen the muscle and tissue around his joints, he'll be at less risk of an injury while we train him.
Every set, every single rep's recorded.
It's awesome to see data that informs health and movement.
But would 7 weeks be enough time to make any meaningful progress in this area? Or worse yet, would the additional strength training have the opposite effect and just overwork him?
Walking over to meet up with Andre for his first ever day of strength and conditioning training.
How are you?
Today is the first day, so I mean, we want to see what works well and honestly see if there's anything that doesn't work.
And the first step in making sure his joints could take on the demands of jiu-jitsu was a mobility routine based on FRC, or functional range conditioning, focused on controlled, deliberate movements to unlock his range of motion. After that, it was time for a dynamic warm-up to get his blood flowing for the real work, the weightlifting. The weightlifting program was carefully crafted, drawing on principles from experts like Mike Boyle, Eric Cressy, Alex Sterner, and Jake Tura, to name a few. Andre pushed through the workout with grit, but his elbows weren't cooperating. The strain flared up, forcing him to pace himself. But fortunately, he made it through in one piece, and he showed some glimmers of the mental toughness that he'd need to succeed in competition. But we would need to be really careful because he still had plenty of sessions to go.
Like, I know you're in good hands and everything, but I'm just constantly making sure that you're not gonna experience anything that's gonna like take you away from training, being able to compete.
It was good, man. It was tough. Oh, and I also think a limiting factor is mental, right? Like to push through and to get used to like the lactic acid and the burn, you know?
Yeah, that mental aspect is gonna be really important for the tournament.
Just gotta keep pushing, you gotta bring on the dog in you, you know?
Yeah.
And you picked it fast. So.
No, thanks, man.
Seriously,
Thanks, man.
Yeah. But
Not only did I care about him staying physically healthy, but I also wanted to emphasize the importance of a healthy mindset by focusing on the process and personal development rather than just on the outcome of the tournament.
The tournament is, there's always a next tournament and a next tournament and a next tournament.
Right.
The tournament is just like a checkpoint.
In 5 weeks, what I think we're gonna see from Andre is a stronger, more confident athlete. Somebody who feels comfortable moving in his body and feels comfortable on the mats.
I think I'm gonna see myself with more mental strength, more confidence, less joint pain. In the competition, I think I'm gonna give my best and not get injured.
You have competed so much. That's literally still our goal. Every single tournament.
Yeah.
Just don't get injured.
Do our best and don't get hurt.
Yep.
Sick.
You got it, dude.
All right.
Very proud of you. We need to figure out.
We were confident, but we knew at the end of the day, it was really all gonna be up to Andre and how he handled everything mentally. Would he actually have what it takes to see this through? Andre wrapped up the week by suiting up in his gi for the first time, and he learned how to tie his belt, which is a small but memorable milestone. From here on out, all of his training would be in the gi. He'd already started learning some basic positions, but he would have no idea how to actually put these together in a competition, so we developed a competition strategy for him.
It's going to be impossible to cover everything.
I think we should look at the training as if we're breaking down like a competition match.
It was simple, but not easy. Sit down, grab them and knock them over, get on top, pin them down, and then try to break their arm or choke them. We chose the strategy of sitting down and knocking them over, aka sweeping them, because we thought it was a safer option for Andre. The alternative is to get into a takedown battle, and we didn't think we had enough time to teach Andre all of the ins and outs of this safely. Besides, pulling guard and sweeping puts you on top and gets you 2 points just like a takedown would. But this was all assuming that we could even teach Andre how to sweep. We ran him through all the different positions of the strategy, but understandably, he got really frustrated in some cases, especially when he was stuck under somebody. But we knew he had to keep going, so to accelerate his learning, we took him to his first ever group session with people of a wide variety of skill levels. But as expected, he was a bit overwhelmed.
The main obstacle is like I got thrown in the deep end.
And during one of the exercises with me, he got stuck on bottom and gave up early before the round was over.
I ran out of options. So you had me pinned, which was like depleting my energy. My brain just turns off and says, just don't expend energy because it's not going to get anywhere. Right? And I feel like that's like a mental aspect I got to try to learn about too.
Andre was experiencing something pretty frightening for first-timers: claustrophobia. And it gets worse the more you panic. So practicing being pinned and remaining calm is actually critical for being able to get out.
Literally like a 5 inches.
Put yourself in those bad positions over and over and over again until it doesn't kill you anymore.
This panic had understandably been a pattern since our first ever private lesson. But if Andre couldn't get over this fear of being stuck underneath somebody, he wasn't going to be able to make it through a 5-minute competition match.
I'm stuck.
So you don't have to expend energy here. Remember, if you're expending too much energy, then expend less energy. Okay. I can get off you if you want me to, but you can also expend less energy, right? Go.
At this moment, I wondered if he finally realized what he got himself into, and this was the first time I was worried that he might actually quit. Just as I felt like we were building momentum in Andre's training, he threw us his first curveball.
The fact that he's going overseas and we only have 5 weeks to work left is certainly not going to help. But I'm confident that we can make the necessary adjustments.
Hotel gym,
You're gonna do great, man.
Gym at my job.
With his first week being just an introduction and his last week set aside for low-intensity prep so that he could peak for competition, this trip to London shaved off even more time, leaving us with only 4 real weeks to train. He made the most of it by lifting at his very highly rated hotel gym. This is a real picture of Andre, by the way. And since I had traveled to London a few times, I hooked him up at Carpe Diem, where he was able to get exactly 1 training session during the entire week that he was there. They went over a position he was pretty confused about, but he at least got to roll with a white belt for the first time ever. Still, I knew we'd need to find him more training partners at his level to prepare him for what he'd face at competition, because getting smashed by purple and brown belts all the time was not ideal for his progress. See, Matt and I don't train at a traditional gym anymore. We run our own private training program with friends using the ecological approach, but we compete under a gym headquartered on the opposite side of the country from us. Long story, but this setup made it a little trickier to have consistent white belts for Andre to spar with. But this was assuming that Andre would even want to keep training when he got back from London, since he took off right after a pretty tough moment and had a lot of time to think it over during his work trip. But it turns out this incident was actually the reality check that he needed.
Yeah. If you ever want me to get off, just me off, but also just use that as a signal to keep in mind how much energy you're outputting, right? Got it.
Were you pissed off at all when I told you that one?
No.
Okay.
It made sense to me. One of the things I was doing is I was breathing really heavily and I was pushing a lot, and then I was gassing myself out really early.
I know, it's like super frustrating. That's the mental part. Yeah, if you start to feel like you're giving up and gassing out, remember it's just a jiu-jitsu match. Yeah, you don't have to do anything with physical.
That's also kind of starting to retrain, like I call it my fight or flight reflex.
Yeah, you can literally just lay there. Like, I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah. Remember, all I'm doing is just sitting on top of you. I'm not even trying to break your arm or anything. Right. You can lay there for 3 minutes if you want. It's not gonna give you any practice, but you're not gonna panic, right? Right.
Now that he returned from London, the competition was just 4 weeks away, but I felt like he'd barely made any progress, so we needed to build the momentum back up. But despite our earlier talk, I felt like Andre hadn't actually gotten past that mental barrier of giving up before the rounds were over. And honestly, with the time crunch, we needed to get locked in.
Did it piss you off at all?
Yeah, it pissed me off because we had done 40 minutes of garter tension and lifts and pushes and pulls, and I was spent. And then you were basically talking shit to me that I couldn't give up or that I was weak, right?
Perfect. Good job. You're great. Put us on the mat. Put us on the mat. Good.
Yes, sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Not bad.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
Boot camping you today.
Yeah. If you're gassed, then just sit there. What I want to avoid is, like, there's always something you can do, I think, other than just giving up and bailing on the round, right? Okay. So if the wind conditions for Matt is to get his feet on the mat and you're tired and you're gassed, okay, just let him have his feet on the mat, okay? But don't give up and like stop the round. You're gonna go to this competition. It's gonna be a 5-minute round. It's gonna be probably the hardest 5 minutes of your life, I think. Yeah. Right. So you need to like build that into your mind right now. You're never stuck. Don't tell yourself I'm stuck. Don't tell yourself I'm tired.
Yeah.
Right? You need to have like that self-talk has to come from like inside of you.
Yeah.
Right?
A little bit of that came out of frustration on my part too.
Yeah.
I think because I knew you could keep going, and there's no giving up, because if you give up, then you're just gonna lose the match, right? Even if you can't do all of the things you want to do, finding the thing you can do to like at least keep going, right?
Yeah, that was huge. Like that moment and that speech flipped a switch for the whole rest of the training for me.
And flip a switch it did. Suddenly, we were seeing a lot of progress in a short period of time.
I'm gonna warn you, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan.
Okay. Alright, hold on, let's do a 4 minute.
Fuck, that's long.
Ready, go.
Oh, shit. Sorry. You're good. You're good. Super Saiyan. Okay. Right. That put me up in the last round, too. After I donkey kicked him.
This was Andre's first ever sweep. If he could catch a brown belt by surprise with it, he could surely execute this in competition.
How's your diaphragm? That's good. It's all better now. Yeah. Had a little boo-boo. Yeah. But now I'm okay. Yeah, do you want me to teach you how to break fall?
And you know how we're using this ecological approach thing? Well, we were starting to see some new movement patterns emerge in response to problems we gave him that would directly help him in competition.
It's our first technical stand-up, baby.
I knew it. I knew it. You don't have to drill that shit. Alright. You can also move away from him. Remember, if he's crowding your space, you can move away from him. And shrimp emerges.
These are what some people call fundamental moves, but we never actually taught him how to do them, so I was fascinated to see this coaching methodology in action. And aside from the technical milestones, he was also getting fitter and was on weight for the competition. But we were still running into some problems, like his gi being too short and not legal for competition.
We need to do something about that gi though. What is going on?
Oh, man.
Is that a kid's gi, Andre?
It's legal, I heard.
And some more mental, like nightmares.
And I had a nightmare last night that I achieved top position, but I didn't know what to do.
And as we picked up the intensity, it was starting to take more of a physical toll on Andre, and I was concerned about his arms.
How you feeling?
Beat up.
Yeah. But with just 2 weeks until the competition, we couldn't afford to slow down, and I needed to find him some more training partners.
Speaking of that, we need to find a white belt for you to have a match with.
But before that, I had a competition in Stockton where I entered the biggest weight classes I could find, for a video of course, where Andre said he learned some lessons about mental fortitude.
And then I know this might be a tangent, but I saw you like display that in Stockton. I was like, that's you know where it all kind of clicked for me. Big thing that jumped out is your mental and physical strength, but especially mental, because you've been training me on that. When you went up on the mats, everybody's eyes went to you guys like, what the f is going on?
Well, yeah, what were you thinking when I was like underneath that dude? It's like,
I was like, that dude's 400 pounds and Matt's legs were like 20 pounds and I was giving up. So there's no reason why I can't push, right? And it was crazy. It was crazy to see.
Yeah.
And inspirational.
This was also the first ever competition he'd seen, so it scared him a little bit.
3 things I learned today is 1, 5 minutes is an eternity. The second thing is the skill level's really high, and that's what makes me terrified for 2 weeks from now. White belt, I saw white belts doing crazy shit that I've never even seen before. You fought for like several matches and almost no submission, right?
Yeah, nobody submitted me.
Yeah, no submission. Crazy.
Andre had seen what it meant to push your limits, but he hadn't truly felt it yet. So to give him a sense of what he'd face in competition, I decided to spar a full round with him for the first time. But without taking it easy on him, because his opponents wouldn't do that either. But I knew he'd overcome enough hurdles mentally and physically now to push through it. He started off in his fight or flight mode, forgetting his competition strategy and leaving openings for me to take him down and submit him.
Start again. Foot on the hip and sit down. Or sit down that way. Okay, you got 2 grips. Keep your feet in front of him, Andre. Keep going. Don't give up. Grab your other arm. Okay. 2 minutes to try again. Come on, you got it. Foot on the hip and sit down.
I could tell he was getting frustrated, but with some coaching,
As soon as you get the grips, Andre.
he pulled guard like we'd been working on and finally understood what it meant to take the initiative,
Nice! Way to be first!
which would be crucial in just 2 weeks.
Nice! Nice, stay it! Nice!
By the end of the round, he not only implemented parts of his competition strategy, but also pushed himself all the way through without giving up. But Mateo, a black belt, could sense Andre was still struggling with his inner voice, leading to tension that would result in gassing out sooner, so he gave him some advice.
I think it's very common to get upset with yourself, but I would try to see if you can control your inner voice. When your body is in fight or flight, you can't make judgment calls. You can't think. Allow yourself to get into a position and just continue to try to maintain your breathing.
He had survived against me, but survival wasn't going to be enough to win him matches in just 2 weeks. With time running out, week 6 was a scramble to get him into an ecological approach class to roll with other white belts and squeeze in as much training as possible before the final week. And on his last days of training, the reality of what he was about to do was finally beginning to set in. How do you feel?
I feel good. I didn't get too much sleep last night. I'm already like in my head, like spinning and everything.
Are you?
Getting a little nervous over the weekend. I'm seeing 10,000 people on YouTube seeing me like get my neck broken or something.
Even you going out there, if a bunch of people see you doing that, I think that'll be more inspiring for people rather than like people being like, oh, look at, yeah. In his last hard training session before competition, some things finally clicked. Andre had major breakthroughs in pinning and back takes.
Stay attached, stay attached, stay attached, stay attached, stay attached. That was unreal, man.
Yeah. That was the best I did.
Yeah. That was unreal.
So you were like transitioning to mount, back control. I actually had to like start picking it up. I had to go harder.
I got that second hook thrown in on camera. That was vicious, man. That was vicious.
I realize when that opening comes, you gotta go for it or it's gone.
Yep.
It felt like everything was finally coming together, but almost too late. If we just had a couple more weeks, I was sure he could do even better. But beneath all this progress, there was one glaring problem. Even without my hands, I could pin him right after his guard pull. Time was up, and I couldn't help but wonder, did we do enough? And what else could we have done? Well, it was irrelevant, because competition day was here.
What's up, dude? What up, bro?
How you feel?
Good. Yeah, good. Yeah.
How many people do you have in your duel?
I saw 4 or 5.
How many matches is he gonna have if he needs to? 4. He'll have 2 matches. Yeah.
Game plan: pull guard right away, go for a takedown by kicking or sweep, and then hold for 3 seconds. Right? That's the rule.
Stabilize
3 seconds, and then Josh said I can go wild man after that and like try to get back try to get back control. That's all I got. So
yeah, that's the winning strategy right there.
So
play sports.
No, I'm a musician. I play saxophone. So
it's the same thing.
Same thing. Wild.
He's ready to go. You know what to do, man.
Yeah. Go out there, give my effort.
Yeah.
Give it 100%. You guys gonna be yelling and coaching me?
Yep.
I need it.
I do want to say, not to be a dork, but it's pretty crazy what you're doing, I think. And so first of all, thank you for like trusting us to like walk you through this process and everything. It's like a pretty absurd amount of like courage, I think, and mental fortitude, literally just to like go through this process and like go out there.
Like I was saying to Matt and Selena earlier, it's already been life-changing.
It literally says nothing about you, whether you win or lose. Doesn't fucking matter at all. Just go out there, do what you've been working on.
Cool.
Yeah, have fun.
All right,
yeah.
let's get it.
Fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. Andre had made it to his first match, but I still didn't know why just 7 weeks ago he agreed to let me train him. So I asked him why. Did you think back at all to like a year prior to when you started jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, totally. It was a 180 for me, right? Because a year prior, I was burnt out from work, sick. I had gone through a really, really rough breakup with my ex. And basically that was the start of a midlife crisis where I was like, something has to change, right? And I started reevaluating everything, right? And I realized that there was kind of three of my personal goals. One was like to, reconnect with my friends and family. The second was reconnect with music. So I've played music for saxophone for 20 years now. But the third, the biggest one, was learning how to fight, right? And kind of overcoming my fight or flight reflex. I had no faith that, well, first of all, the fear of rejection, like, who the fuck is this guy reaching out? Second of all, like, I had no faith in my ability to do anything physical or athletic, especially not fighting. So, you're back to your question, looking back from a year to now, it's just wild. Like, I feel like my life has changed. Yeah.
It's serendipitous.
Did I get any points?
Yeah, you got 4 points.
Oh man.
I guess.
Okay, dude, that was sick.
That was my goal.
That was sick, bro. You took it back, man.
Everybody's like, holy shit.
I turned around and we're like,
I get messages sometimes from people who are like, hey, I'm a white belt or I'm a blue belt, I haven't competed yet. How many months do you think I should train before I'm ready for my first conversation? I'm like, just go do it right now, right? Because like most people just want to like wait a long time, but to get better at competing,
like, I'll compete when I'm better, and then they're like a brown belt, and they can't.
Yeah,
it's
just baptism by fire.
Yeah.
Actually, this is lit. Now I want to compete again. I want to improve on what I was weak on.
There's another one in January.
Oh, I don't know that soon.
Hello, and welcome to the epilogue. That was weird. So Andre may have lost both of his matches, but that wasn't the point. The goal was to see how far someone could come in just 7 weeks. So in that sense, I think Andre exceeded all expectations. And since the competition, Andre has fallen in love with jiu-jitsu. It's pretty cool to see.
Favorite grappler at the moment is Buchecha. I just watched the 2-part documentary on flow grappling, and super inspiring. Just his life story, great, competitor, legend.
He's also been making a lot of videos for Instagram and TikTok. He's been improving consistently and even tracking his progress super in depth like the data scientist that he is. I kind of wish I did that. For example, during our 17 training sessions leading up to the competition, Andre completed what he calls 197 reps across 69 games. As you can see on the graph, we focused heavily on guard work, but clearly that needs some more improvement since that was his downfall in competition. The guys were able to pass his guard pretty easily like I was towards the end of training and then pin him and get to a choke. But this wasn't just about jiu-jitsu either. Andre also saw a lot of physical changes. For example, on November 7th, he had texted me saying that he gained 1.6% muscle mass and lost 1.6% fat mass over the course of 5 weeks. Now, obviously this wasn't like a weight loss journey video, but it was cool to see the physical changes he made because of the jiu-jitsu and the strength and conditioning training. And we've got to address the ecological approach. Now, this one is never not a hot topic. Proponents would look at this as an example of the ecological approach working, while opponents could say things like, if he would have drilled, he could have learned certain things more quickly or things like that. Problem is that this wasn't a controlled experiment against traditional drilling, so I think the debate is just going to continue. But what's undeniable is that Andre did improve his jiu-jitsu, he developed a lot of mental toughness, and he gained a deeper appreciation for the sport. It's just the start of a much longer journey for Andre, and I can't wait to see where it takes him. Thank you, Andre, very much for participating in this little experiment. I'm glad to see that you got something out of it, and you didn't get hurt. So glad you didn't get hurt. If you like this video, drop a like and subscribe, and check out this video next. I don't know where it is. Somewhere. Like my tattoo, I got it in Japan.